Hello everyone, I'm Priya Teli. In previous video, we discussed about the homepage for our placement management system and also the program for the same. In today's video, we are going to see about the PHP MyAdmin database and also how to create database and the tables inside the PHP MyAdmin. And also we are going to see a program for student details registration form, and also we are going to see how to execute SQL queries through Java program, and also how to perform Java database connectivity. So let's begin. First of all, you need to open the exam control panel. Then just you have to start these both servers, Apache server and MySQL server. Then click on this admin button in front of MySQL. Then you will be redirected to this PHP MyAdmin page. Here you are able to see this page in this. Here it is a new button. With the help of, by clicking on this, you will be able to create a new database. So we have, I'm having few databases already created here. In my case, for placement management system, I have created a database named Rage. So let's see how to create the new database. When you click on the new, you will be able to see this window. Here you have to specify any name for your database and then just click on the create. Here we can create tables inside the database named e-commerce. So we can give any name, say suppose and here we are going to mention the number of columns we want inside this table, and then just hit go. Here we have to mention the column names. So say suppose layer 1 data, or we can say layer 1. Layer 2 score. Here game status. Take here ID. Now here we specify the database data types for these columns. So these three things will be integer itself. This will be varchar. Game status will consist of won or lose. Then say here we will mention the length values for these columns. So suppose 20. Then here we can set a primary key, that is so that the ID will be unique each time and it will not be null. Then we just have to go for save button. So we can see this table will be created. We can just see the look through the browse button. In this way it appears, and we can insert data from here. Anything like suppose it is 0, and suppose status. Just for this is just a sample table to show how it happens. When we click here and go, so we can see here inside the browse button that the data is inserted, the same data is inserted twice because I hit the go button twice. So in this way we can perform inserting data into the tables. So in my case my database name is Rage and I am having these 4 tables, and this and the columns and everything is already defined. So let's see the Java program for student details. So as we discussed in the previous video, we're going to import these 4 important packages. that is javax.swing.star, java.awt.event.star, java.awt.star, and java.sql.star. These four important packages are necessary here. Then we have this class named student details, which implements action listener interface. We here action listener interface is to be implemented as we want to add event, or we want to add action to the buttons or the text fields which we are going to use in this. So there are many text fields and labels and combo box and the buttons in our registration form. So let's see how our registration student registration form looks. So this is a simple form which we have formed. Here these are the text fields and these are the labels which appear here. These are all labels. These are the combo box where we have choice to select any one option. We have total 4 combo box here. 1, 2, 3. We have 5 combo box here. And these are the buttons. So now this is also a label. This title which we see is a label, and this is the title. So let's see how we are going to do this. So whatever components we have used are all Swing components, which are JLabel, JTextField, JComboBox, JPassword field, all these JButton, all these are Swing components. Also this JFrame, we have created the object called frame. Then these all are the objects, this email label, PRN label, name label, all these are the objects for these components, and these are the labels which will appear, that is email, PRN, name, and so on. Then we have this string array which we are going to use, which we are going to provide or pass as an argument to the JCombo box. Whatever this array, whatever values are mentioned in this array will be provided as an option for the JCombo box. So we are going to pass this string array inside this JCombo box method as an argument. So this will appear as an options out of which anyone can be selected. You can see here. Then we have text fields which are here. You can see these text fields which are JText fields. Then we have used JButton to create buttons, and whatever text will be appearing is mentioned inside here JButton method, which is home, save, and update. These buttons we have inside our form. Then inside the constructor we are calling 4 methods. For our simplicity we have divided this program into 4 blocks. These 4 methods, like for creating window, create window method, set location and size method, add components to frame, and action event. So we have defined here create window method. Inside this, the object which we have created before for frame, we call this with the help of this we call new JFrame, so that always every time the constructor is called, a new frame is created. Then we have used set title method, and the title given is student details form. 3 main methods which we always use are set bounds, set layout, and set visible. So set bounds consist of the 4 parameters: x coordinate, y coordinate, width, and height. It will be the width or height. It will have the dimensions of our frame. Then we have set the background of our form as white with the help of this frame.getContentPaint.setBackground, and inside that we mention color dot white. We can specify any color here. Then we have set layout method. So frame dot get content pen dot set layout null. By default it is border layout, but if we don't want to mention anything, then we can simply write null. Then at the end we write set visible true, so that our frame and the components inside the frame should be visible to the user. Else if we specify here false, then it will not be visible, it will disappear. Then we have used this method frame dot set default close operation jframe dot exit dot close, so that we can close here. Whenever we click on the close, the frame will close. Else if we doesn't mention that, then this frame will not be closed even though you click many times on this close button. Then we have set frame dot set resizable as false. If we write true here, then we will be able to then this minimize button will be enabled, but we have used false, so we are not able to maximize the frame. Then we have set location and size method. We are going to define here the location and the size for the components which we are going to use in our frame. So everything is label, text field, combo box, um, buttons, all these things which we are able to see, all these are the components, swing components. So all these components all these objects for these components whichever we have created, we are going to set the size and the location with the help of set bounds method. And we know that it takes 4 parameters x, y, width and height. So here we will mention as per it should be done just by checking where it should be appeared on the form. So in this way we are going to do. Also we have used background color. We set the background color as white for those. The default one is this one color. It appears like a gray color. Then we have set font as Cambria and the font dot center baseline. Here there are options like bold, italic, etc., etc. And the size we have mentioned is 25. Same thing we are going to do for each component in a sequential manner, so that it appears in a proper sequence. We are able to see the x coordinate for all these components. It's same. Only the y coordinate is getting varied for all these components. Similarly for these. So in that way we write the coordinates and the location for all these components. After adding components, location for these components, we add all these components to the frame. If we only set the size, but if we don't add these components to the frame, then it will be not visible. So we need to add these components to the frame, and it is done with the help of .add method. So frame.add, frame is the object which we have created for JFrame. So frame.add and the object components name. So in this way we add all the components, and we have then another method, that is action event. In this method, we add action listener to each and every text field and the buttons. So the object name dot add action listener method is used, and inside that we write this keyword. You can only write this keyword if the class in which this method is present is implementing action listener interface. As this class is implementing action listener, so we can write inside that add action listener method this keyword. If it is not, then we cannot write, it will not be done. We'll have to mention the class which implements action listener. Then we have action performed method, which is from action event class. We create an object for action event class, which is E, and then we have a method e.getSource. With the help of this, we will be able to know, we are going to define the events for specific buttons or text fields. So if e.getSource is equal to save button, then these things we are going to mention what will happen if we are going to click save button. So the further code is for belongs to the database portion. So these things are this particular program is critical program. So this should be written inside try catch block as it can raise SQL exception. So that's why it is need to written inside a try catch block. So we are going to use here connection interface, prepared statement interface, and driver manager interface. So with the help of connection object, we are going to establish the connection between the database and the Java JDBC. So here we have created a connection object for connection interface. We are going to use driver manager, and we have a method called get connection, and inside that we provide a URL which consists of this URL. This pattern is fixed, just you have to change the database name. In my case it is Reg, so this is the URL JDBC ::MySQL :/localhost. Here we give the host name port number, which is 3306 in my case for MySQL, and then /database name. So in my case it is Reg, so you have to replace it with the database name in your case. Then username, here it is username, which is root. If you are using XAMPP control panel, then these things will remain same. Username will be root and password will remain empty. Then we have used prepared statement interface. We create object for prepared statement, that is P statement, equal to we call this prepare statement method on connection object, and inside that we provide a query. So what we have to do is, whatever the data will be inserted into text field, we have to fetch that data and send it to the database. So in short, we have to insert these all values into the database. So we are going to perform here insert query. So insert into student details. Student details is the name of my table inside the Reg database. Insert into student details values, and here there will be that much question marks as per the number of columns. Here these values are still unknown because we are going to take it from the text field. So here we are going to write question marks by comma separated, and it will be only the number will be same as the many columns we have. Then here we are going to write the sequence for the insertion of this data into the table. So this sequence is very important. We have to check here that what is the sequence, like PRN name, email. This as per the sequence we are going to insert the values. So we need to check for a sequence in the way we are going to insert this. We have the number of columns as question mark as per the columns, but it should be inserted into the proper column. PRN should be inserted into PRN field. Name should be inserted into name field. That's why it is very mandatory to check the sequence here into the table, and also in the same manner we have to write the sequence here. And we have .get text method to get the data or to get the string inserted into the text field. So this is the object for that text field, PRN text field, so that we PRN text field dot get text will get the value inserted into the PRN text field, that is the text field, this one where we are going to insert the PRN. So that is the object created, PRN text field, name text field, all these are the objects for the text fields. So we use .get text method to get the strings or characters inserted into the text field. Then in case we want to get the string which will be from combo box, that is, suppose I want to get the text that what item is selected here. So for that purpose we have method .get selected item .toString. So we will get the selected item and we are going to convert it to the string, and that will be inserted into that particular column. So similarly we are going to insert do this for all the columns, and we still not have executed the query, we have just arranged the sequence. And we just first of all what we do is we have to check before insertion, we have to check whether the particular data or particular PRN is registered before. So that for that purpose we are going to do one thing, First of all, in these string literals, we are taking the text which are inserted into these text fields. Not every text field, we are just going to take the important text fields like the data from PRN text field, or data from password text field, and also from confirm password text field, then email and typed. So what we are going to do here with the help of this, we are going to check whether this the data is inserted into the PRN text field or not. If these fields are empty, if they are equal to these empty braces, it means if the values are not inserted inside these text fields, then we are going to display a dialog box having the message user ID is missing, or if password is missing, then it will display password is missing. So for that purpose, we have used JOption pen and show message dialog method. Inside that we pass two arguments, that is null. Here we provide an object. So if we don't want to pass, we use null here, null comma user ID is missing. This message will be displayed. Similarly, for we are going to display these messages for mandatory fields like PRN, password, email, confirm password field, and also we are going to check whether the password and the confirm password fields match the data which is inserted inside that. So if not pass dot equals repass, we are going to show the message password doesn't match. Then we have created a statement object. Why we are going to do this? First of all, we are going to select the data from the student details which is previously present, and just going to check for that whether the recently inserted PRN into the text field matches the previous data inside the table. If it exists already, then it will not allow to insert once again. It can allow to update. So we are going to take one string variable query. Inside that we are giving our query, select everything from student details, and we have a result set interface. We have created this object rs of result set, and this will hold all the result or all the row which will be returned after the execution of query. So we perform or we execute query on this statement object. We have the method execute query which takes the query inside that. So we have passed this query string literal string variable to this execute query method, which is called upon statement object stmt, and the results returned are taken into result set rs. This rs is the object for result set interface. So as this acts like a cursor, it iterates through row inside our table. So for that we need to iterate through the table, we need to take a while loop. So we have .next method to iterate through the tuples. So what we are going to do is we just need to check whether the PRN is registered before. So just we need to get the text from PRN column and or this is optional, we can also get text from password column. So PRN is important one. So the column name as it is should be mentioned here inside the quotes as we have here. So we are having PRN column, password column. So here we are not giving any name, we are just giving the name which is there in the table. So we are using a getString method to get the value inserted in that column for that row. For every iteration it will check. Then rs.getString PRN. So whatever it will be it will return will be taken into user ID string variable. Same for the password. Then we are going to check if user ID dot pass equals PRN. PRN holds the value which is inserted into the PRN text field inside our form, and this holds the value which is checked inside the table. So if in case it appears that it is the user ID already exists, then it will show the message user ID already exists. And else if doesn't, then it will execute this query, and we have this object p statement in which we took this query. So here we are going to execute this query. p statement dot execute update. We have this execute update method for prepare statement object. We will execute this query and then it will show the message user registered successfully. And all this code comes inside the try catch block. So inside the catch block we have it takes the exception. We create here exception object. So as we know, here might occur SQL exception, so we can specify here specific exception name. Else if we don't know, then we can simply just write exception and we have to create here object for the same. And then event.string print stack trace. This will if in case exception occurs, and it will print all the info regarding the exception, particular exception. Then here if user clicks the update button, so for that we have to specify an event. So if e.get source is equal to update button, then this thing should happen. So what we are going to do here, if if the user ID is already existing, and in that case if he want to make some changes to the data registered, if there is some mistake, then he can go for update button. So in that case we are going to update the data based on his or her PRN. So here same thing we have done. We have created connection interface object, and with the help of driver manager we have this get connection method. We have passed all the details, database details, and also we have collected the strings or the data inserted into the text fields as we have discussed above. And we are going to again select everything from student details, and we are going to execute this query. And first of all, in this case also we check for if any fields are empty. If user enters nothing inside the fields and go for the update button, then these things will be displayed that user ID is missing, password is missing, or something or like that. And also it checks for the whether the password and the confirm password fields are confirm password is matching or not. Then we have this add result set object. We have used r while loop while r is dot next. Then inside that we are again here taking the data from PRN column and the password column inside this user ID and password, and we just compare for both. If user ID is equal to PRN, if it is equal, it means that user have to update the data for that particular PRN. Particular user ID is checked, and the data will be updated for other things will be updated for that particular user ID. So first of all, it will display the message that user already exists, and then it will display the message that update details or else go for login. Then here we have taken update query. Similarly, we have created a prepare statement object PST, and we call this prepare statement method on this connection object and pass the query inside that. So our query is update student details, set name is equal to question mark, and similarly we write the column names, all the column names equal to question mark separated by comma in the proper sequence in which it exists in the table. But where we have to do the changes, where we have to update, where PRN will be PRN equal to question mark. So this question mark will have the PRN which is inserted into the text field. If it exists, then only the update is going to occur. So here also sequence is mandatory. It is based on these columns. Name first question mark value holds the value from name text field. Second holds the value from email text field. In this way we have managed the sequence, and at the end we have here PRN equal to question mark. So this value is taken from PRN text field. Here sequence will be in that way. Then after every sequence is mentioned, then we are going to execute this. So pst dot execute update, and after executing this successfully, this message will be displayed that data updated successfully. And if else, in case if nothing is inserted and then user goes for update button, then this message will be displayed, enter details, fields are empty. And same way we have this exceptional code inside the catch block. Then if e.get source is equal to home button, then we have to redirect the user to the home page. So in that case we have to create the object for home class in this way. Home page is equal to new home, and we have to set this registration form frame as visibility as false, so that this registration form will disappear and the homepage will be visible. So we have this main method, main class, inside which we are having main method. Here we create object for our student details class, which is this one. This one. Then the program will run. So it looks like this. In the last program, we have seen the implement or working of this registration form, how the data gets inserted into the database. So if in case you want to see the working, you can watch my previous video, which shows the working of the placement management system. So that's all. Thank you. If you like my video, please go for like, and also please subscribe my channel. Thank you.